Good afternoon, good morning in some places. This is the Southbound Showdown between PPT Elite and FSP Academy, the Southbound Showdown featuring some of the top players from the state of Washington near the Seattle area and some of the top players here in the state of Texas for the PPT Elite roster. I am Mark Henry along with Adam Sandoval here on the DR Sports Network as well as the PPT Elite Network, man. Shout out to my guy Jordan Pugh for putting this game together. Adam, we got us a barn burner here. 12-minute quarters, some of the high school players, and even some 8th grade and 7th grade players in this particular game.
Yeah, young talent on we've seen earlier on FSP side, but, still great talent on PPT side. Both of these teams and players, just trying to boost their recruitment and engagement, on the forefront. But a great Texas versus Washington battle ahead of us here as we got a national competition going head-to-head today.
Yes, sir. As you can see, Mateo Medina with the return there for PPT Elite, who will start out with pretty good field position on the return. Medina was a guy who was a defensive MVP in the International Bowl last week where PPT faced off against some of the top international players in Europe. We're talking about across the pond, across the Atlantic Ocean. I think that's big as you see PPT taking the field. DJ Carlisle, 6'5" quarterback out of Frisco Reedy High School, I think is a guy that's going to lead this, potent attack for PPT Elite. I think DJ Black will be a guy on the offensive side that'll have the ball as you see him take the first snap. Great handoff there. Not much there, Adam, but I think this is one game where these guys got to kind of feel each other out.
Yeah, we're just getting started. This is good spring ball action as well. So some of these players, have been in pads, in a couple months as far as, maybe last week, like you said, the International Bowl. But, these guys have been practicing. So we said this PPT team has had plenty of practice together as a whole. But still, the longevity of the game, this is a full-length, high school game. So you're still trying to break down the defense a little bit before, you pull out your big plays.
Fumble on the snap, but recovered by Carlisle. Zatari Palmer was the running back on the previous carry, just committed to Eureka College in Illinois. Congratulations to him. Speaking with Coach Jordan Pugh before, he wants to give these before the game, Adam on the sideline, he wants to give these guys, as you mentioned, as we see here, a fumble snap. Just didn't quite get it there. I think he actually hit a player on that one, but he was able to get on there and recover. But speaking with Coach Pugh, over 22 offers gained, in the spring for these guys, with a guy like Palmer committing here recently as we see the snap. Looking for a little bit of motion. But he's sacked on the play. FSP gets penetration on that one. You got number 3, Max Bridges, 6'1", 225 DN, 227 out of Glacier Park High School. I think that they're going to have to, wrap this thing up a little bit. As you can see, Palmer, looking for it here, up the middle, and they broke down there just a little bit, Adam, as you can see. I think that what we're going to see from these guys, they're going to have to put the ball in there a lot.
Yeah, on that play, on that replay, you saw Max Bridges immediately off the line, just based off speed, beat that defender on that tackle on the end right there to get in the backfield and force that pressure. Now forcing them to punt. Got a fumble on the punt.
He gets back on it. Man, you don't want to muff that right down there. That was Eden Gilbert on that one for FSP. As you can see, these guys coming in from the state of Washington. Adam, this is a lot of kids that are looking for an opportunity to actually get some more, as you mentioned earlier, boostment in their recruiting. As you can see, he comes up with it just in the nick of time. But I think that this is a game that you'll start to see around the country that features guys in the spring, especially here in the state of Texas.
Yeah, we talked about this earlier, Mark. With Texas, with how the state of Texas as a whole preaches high school football, it is for us. It's not common to see a spring game like this. Obviously in Washington they're able to to play this tackle ball year round. But like we said, at the end of the day, these kids are coming up here to boost their engagement, recruitment at all costs. Gain that extra film they need. Especially some of these moving into their senior year of high school as well.
Under center for FSP, Brady Bonello, sophomore, 6'1", 190 out of Tahoma High School. Recently visited SMU and TCU this week while he was in Texas. Great handoff there, up the middle. You got Emi Duan Upgay on the carry there for FSP. Now, we talked about FSP making that trip, Adam. I think it's very interesting. You know, you mentioned that they don't have spring ball up north or up in the on the northwest, but I think this is a thing that you'll start to see is these teams getting out and you know, these players getting out and getting that action like they need to do on a national stage here today.
Yeah, both of these teams are, I would say, they are technically kind of familiar with each other. You know, they've played each other in previous years as well, and I believe they have an agreement. You know, they'll trade off a home and home. You know, PPT will go up there every now and then to the northwest to Washington to play. So, you know, it's just a great opportunity for both of these teams to go head to head. And, you know, see, you know, sometimes we'll see kids maybe, like we said, we got 8th graders. You know, a couple of years, we'll probably see them again in this game, you know, when they're sophomores or juniors, maybe even close to seniors.
That's Jasir Hampton-Williams on the tackle for PPT Elite, getting some penetration. Now, talking to Coach Pugh before, this defensive front is active. He wants to be able to let these guys roam and play free and make tackles, as you can see. Hampton-Williams coming up and making the stop, and we had a penalty on that one to push the offense back. But I think that, you know, he mentioned that he had some guys that they're going to be prominent on the defensive side, and Hampton-Williams is one of those guys. Bunnell on the center for FSP as they continue on their first drive. 8:23 left in the first quarter. Back to pass. Out in the flat. He's got his running back, got up the field, gets extra yards, and he almost gets back to the original line of scrimmage after that one, Adam. Great play. As you can see, Bunnell with the strong arm able to get that one out quickly.
Yeah, great job. Great reception right there by Caden Johnson at Bellevue High School. You know, projected to be a Power 4 player when he's able to set off into college with a couple of offers. So we're going to see him on Saturdays. But you check the DR Sports Network replay, you see Bunnell dropping back. Immediately knew he was going to go to Caden right there. And great footwork right there. Stayed up on his feet along the sideline, tight-roped it, get a couple of yards.
Bunnell back to pass. Has his receiver on the catch. That is number 1, Caden Tatum, a 6'5", 189-pound wide receiver out of Odeya High School. This is a guy that's only a freshman, but he's starting to pick up some steam in his recruitment as well.
Yeah, early start on that PPT defense. You know, they had a bit of a cushion after that penalty to protect the sticks. So they're kind of content, okay with that, you know, keeping everything in front of them here. So going to bring up, I believe, a 4th down as FSP is going to go for it here.
Expect some pressure from the PPT Elite offense. Great job. It looks like he just got past the sticks there. That's number 17, Waylon Abercrombie on the reception. Great job by Bunnell of finding his receiver in the open space there, Adam.
Yeah, go to Abercrombie, you know, big, heavy set receiver. You might have him on a tight end spectrum right there. We see on the DR Sports Network replay, you saw it there. Abercrombie came from the right side of his quarterback and got right to the sticks, protected that ball to get that first down.
Outside run. He breaks up the field. Looks like he's close to first down yardage on that one. Again, we got Caden Johnson, Royce Miller on that one, who looks to be, you know, the main guy back there in the backfield for those guys, Adam.
Yeah, that was a great boost of speed right there on that coming out the backfield. As soon as he left that line of scrimmage, he was going full head of steam. PPT was able to catch up to him before he broke away on that play. But, yeah, big first down. It already entered the red zone for the first time today for FSP.
Ground game, they stick with it. Another big carry up the middle. He breaks free into the end zone for 6. FSP's on the board, Adam.
What a run right there by Royce Miller. He was not going to be denied getting into the end zone. You see, we'll check that DR Sports Network replay. When he takes his hand off, I mean, he breaks off a handful of tackles and defenders who try to bring him down. Great job on the offensive line clearing the way. 1, 2. Yeah, 2 tackles and spins one off of him off. A great job right there by Royce Miller.
Great job indeed. As you can see, the PPT Elite defense stacking up here for the extra point. But I thought that Miller was the guy on that. He also had a reception out of the backfield, but you can see standing at 6'1", 210, he's a load to deal with inside. As the extra point is good, with 6:07 remaining in the first quarter, FSP takes the lead 7-0 in this particular matchup. Again, we're bringing you this from Capel High School over in the DFW area, in the shadow of DFW Airport, as you can see right here on this replay. Great job of the big boys opening it up in the middle. As you can see, he gets north quickly and spin move and gets out of it. I like the high knee action and the contact balance on that one, Adam.
Yeah, that offensive line for FSP right there, number 50 or 67, the Kai Senethafile was one of those guys that led the way to clear the way for FSP. But, this is a pretty big offensive line we were able to see warming up for FSP. Great size. I'm pretty sure we're going to see a lot of movement in the trenches today for sure.
Absolutely. And, of course, this is brought to you by OfferHound, using the power of AI to get athletes recruited and help coaches find them as well. Again, this is all about getting these guys that exposure in this particular game. Get recruited now by OfferHound, as you can see right there on the screen. They're helping athletes get recruited and helping coaches find them, Adam. That's what this is about, exposure. As you see the kickoff go back to PPT Elite, and they get ready for their second possession. Gets up the field, got a space, closed down there. Great job by the return team of getting some space there. As you can see, PPT Elite taking the field for their second possession. Adam, what do you think about the FSP offense coming out?
I mean, they spread the ball perfectly. They did have a short field to work with, so that was able to help them on the successful drive as well. But they spread the ball well. We started as the drive broke down. They started off handing it off, and then they started airing it out. Couple of out routes, couple of crosses across the middle. Enough. They battled a fourth down and overcame that. So that's something to realize, that they're not afraid to go for it as well. And they went right back to the ground game once they went to the red zone. They were able to cash in for 6.
Absolutely. I think that you'll see PPT start to establish that round game. Black up the middle for about a yard, 2 yards maybe on the carry. As you can see, DJ Black's one of those guys that you'll see with the ball in his hands, as well as Zatari Palmer, who we saw get a couple carries early. Of course, we talked about DJ Carlisle, the quarterback, 6'5". He has a great arm. He played over at Frisco Reedy High School, not too far from here, where we are in Capel High School in the DFW area. As you can see, he started 7 games on the year. He's a guy that can sling it. But right now we've seen PPT Elite come out with that heavy ground game. Takes a snap. Looks upfield. He's got some room to run. Spin move. It gets upfield. Close to a first down. Almost gets it. As you can see, we talked about Carlisle and his ability to use his legs as well as be a passer. Great job by the offensive line of giving him some room to work there, Adam.
Yeah, you check this replay here on that. Carlisle was able to, use his feet, little athleticism there on the spin move. You saw him recognize there's nothing downfield, take the green grass in front of him. With that spin move, it gave him enough to get close to that first down marker. So it's going to bring up 3rd and inches. But Carlisle, again, he's had some postseason experience as well, playing in the state playoffs as well.
Big hit in the backfield as the defense rises up for FSP on that one. The first guy there for FSP was one of the big-time linebackers, number 10 there for the FSP, and that is Jalen Coleman. As you can see, Coleman with the early penetration, gets to the running back and squeezes it down, and then he has some more comrades to come help him out. The FSP defense stands up on that one, Adam.
Yeah, great job by that defense. That pursuit to the ball is so top tier. We're already seeing 3-4 guys in the backfield as soon as they're able to blow it up. So great job by this front and this, everyone in the box for FSP to get to the backfield and cause havoc.
Punt gets off short, knuckleball. Looks like they may be able to down that one on this one. Now, Adam, the FSP offensive line kind of controlled the tempo with the running game on that last particular possession. What does the PPT Elite defense, the defensive front, have to do to kind of shut that down now?
I mean, obviously, whenever you're trying to prepare for a game, you're studying tendencies and such as far as the offense. But the first drive you're able to see, FSP knows how to evenly spread the ball. I would say you got to start off by, stop the run. They were able to score off of that in the red zone, and they started the drive like that. You stop that run, you'll keep your DBs back later. So once they're able to air it out, your DBs are prepared for it. So if you're able to stop this ground game early, you kind of dictate how the offense is going to get to run their game plan the rest of the game.
Absolutely. Of course, we saw Royce Miller make a phenomenal run to get to pay dirt on that last possession. Also, he caught a pass out of the backfield. You see some versatility. What you see in today's running back is being able to catch and make plays, not only on the ground but also through the air. And Bunnell was able to find those guys, find him open. Also got a pass to Tatum on that particular last drive. We'll see how they come out here on that second possession. Again, great day for football, spring football that is, here in the state of Texas. FSP taking on PPT Elite. Bunnell under center, in the shotgun, hands it off, takes it himself. He's got a run-pass option out to Rios, but great job by the defender there for PPT Elite reading that one at him.
Yeah, great job there. That RPO action starting off early, give you as many opportunities and options as you can. They're able to execute to get a couple of yards. You fake that handoff, roll. That's a great job, good throw on the run. Not much after the catch, try to make his defender miss. But only enough for a couple of yards. But on that tackle right there, that was Mike Collins in coverage, forcing that tackle to make sure he doesn't get away for a big gain.
Bunnell takes it out. Outside, Upgate. Great job. He fakes out one guy, gets outside. Positive gain for FSP. As you can see, Upgate is a guy with some juice in his game. Adam out of Auburn Riverside High School, 5'9", 190 junior. I like what I'm seeing from this offense.
Yeah, that burst of speed is that once he hits that second gear, it's going to be very, very hard to stop him. You check here on that replay, goods out the backfield on that flat, basically a screen here, and as soon as he sees that green grass, just turns it upfield. Look, makes one guy, two guys miss to get that first down. So Upke is having a phenomenal start to this one.
Great job by the PPT Elite front seven of stopping that one. As you can see, they get some penetration there. And that's what Coach Pugh was talking about, Adam, before the game, is he wants to see his guys play free, especially in that front seven, running kind of a 3-3-5 stack. Look, he wants to give these guys a chance to be free and make plays, and on that one, they get some penetration. Second and about 9 for FSP. High snap. Finds a guy outside, just sort of the sticks. It looks like he gets past the sticks for the first down. That's number 17 on the catch there. Waylon Abercrombie, a sophomore from Tahoma High School up in the Washington area.
Abercrombie has already made his mark, knowing he's one of those trusted receivers. Whenever they're down far back in the sticks, third, any down and long, maybe fourth down, third down, they're going to go to him. Abercrombie, second time, gets to the sticks, knows what he needs to do, get that line to gain, and halts right there. Got that reception and extended the chain, so first down for FSP.
Takes a snap, hands it off, got some room off to the side, and that's Upgate again. Pretty close to first down. Looks like they'll move the sticks. Adam, this offensive line is really doing a great job of opening up holes. As you can see, you don't see much difference between Miller and Upgate when it comes to getting positive yardage. They each fall forward when they get the football.
Yeah, the offensive line is stout right now, impressing everyone here from Junior LePay, Nikai Senatafale, and Kamani Kalikahi as well. I mean, the big guys up front are just moving the way for Upke, and Upke is helping himself out. Again, it's all, Mike Till. Oh, we got interception, Mark.
Right, great job, PPT taking it back. As you can see, it's at midfield, outside, just past the 50. Great job by PPT Elite, and that's Hampton Williams again, a guy that we talked about earlier in the broadcast.
Yeah, great job. Hampton Williams went up and snagged that one. You see the quarterback here scanning the field, and Hampton Williams just in the middle of traffic snacks it, steals that one away. And a great gain as well. Try to beat that quarterback, but nonetheless, a positive result for the defense here of PPT Elite to get the ball back.
Well, they call him Jersey. Hampton Williams is from Longview High School, which is known here in the state of Texas for putting out elite talent. He's headed to Kilgore College in the fall. 6'1", 210. As you can see, he's got some ball skills at the linebacker position.
Yep, Longview Lobo up. Shout out to our guy, Jawan Davis from Rito Bows.
Absolutely.
Hometown guy. But yes, Longview is a staple in Texas high school football. They're producing great athletes. Haynes King just went undrafted, signed with the Carolina Panthers. So they're producing athletes as well. I mean, Jalen Hale, as well.
SMU now.
Taylor Tatum as well.
Absolutely.
Longview is producing great players, and just great job in athleticism by Williams, right? Jesser right there to get that interception You know, and a win's a win, as I like to say, when you come on a defense. You're able to steal a possession, you know, that's a positive outcome.
Got some penetration there, maybe a yard there by Hayden Morrison on the carry for PPT Elite. I think that they got to get some pushed up there up front. As you can see, the FSP defensive line is really playing on the other side of the line of scrimmage in this game so far, Adam.
Yeah, the trenches are very, very active. You know, we hear a lot of coaches saying that, you know, that's where everything starts is in the trenches, you know. But right now it's been active on both sides of the ball, you know, but FSP has shown a lot, forcing a lot of pressure today.
Just a bit outside of the receiver there. Black was the receiver on that particular play, but DJ Carlisle's got to get in the rhythm right now. As you can see, kind of missed that throw, that one. But we know, Adam, that Carlisle can spin it. As you can see, he's got the frame that college coaches like in a quarterback standing at 6'5". Just got to get in the rhythm. But 3rd and about 9 here, what do you think the PPT Elite offense has to do to get this first down?
I mean, with the pressure that FSP is bringing this early already, and you have an athletic quarterback in Carlisle, well, I think what you really have to do is, if you're going to pass it, it's got to be something quick, get some slants, get some crosses across the middle just to get the ball out. You might want to keep the defense on their toes, go to an option type of formation, you know, let Carlisle use his legs, keep this defense, you know, on their toes the whole game.
Just a bit outside. Black had one hand on it, but wasn't able to make the catch there. As you can see right outside the play there. But the defense comes up big for PPT Elite, but the offense wasn't able to convert on that one.
And we see right here on the replay, an FSP defense is just stout from the front. As you see, they're always in the backfield, forcing that pressure.
And that was Max Bridges, the 6'1", 220 junior out of Glacier Peak High School, back there putting some pressure on Carlisle and company. But now PPT is going to have to punt. Maybe they can pin him inside the 10 to kind of, you know, sway the field position a little bit. The defense came up big, which they're playing a great game. They only gave up a couple of big runs there, but getting a turnover there, I think they changed the field position. That could help them out as well here.
Yeah, and again, this is still early in this one, so if you're able to get those turnovers, that turnover margin is something to really look out for. And that was a pretty decent punt right there, but no one from PPT Elite was able to haul it in, so that will be a touchback.
Well, the touchback is we got some laundry on the field. There's a penalty down. But I think that, you know, you mentioned that, you know, flipping the field position, and that's what they're looking to do here with that punt. But this game is definitely one of those games that we talked about, Adam, that you want these guys to get some extra film, to get some recruiting, to get a look. But, hey, we got to talk about Alpha Hiring real quick. Get recruited now, AI-powered, parent-trusted, NIL-ready. We're talking about using the power of AI to get athletes recruited and help coaches find them. That's our sponsor for today, OfferHound. Get recruited now by OfferHound. This is another avenue to help kids get that exposure, to help them get recruited, Adam.
Yeah, with the state of where we are as far as in technology, you know, AI has become something that has changed the game for a lot of people, a lot of organizations, you know, so – you know, there's a lot of great uses to AI, and these are one of those better ones that you want to use, you know, that are at your hand, at your fingertips, you know, to benefit you, especially as an athlete.
Absolutely, man. And, you know, we talked about a couple of the PPT Elite players earlier. You know, Darion DJ Black, we talked about him recently committing to Eureka College. But some of his interesting hobbies, he knows sign language. I think that's an interesting skill that you don't see a lot of kids have at an early age. And, you know, the reason he plays football is he loves to be physical, and he wants to be the first in his family to make it big. Shout out to DJ Black, and congratulations on the commitment as well going on to Eureka College as he's going on to the next level. And, Adam, that's what it's all about. It's about getting to the next level. And when you say next level, it's not always Power 4 or even Group of 5. It's the next level where we talk about junior college, we talk about, you know, D3, D2. And if you look at the landscape of where the transfer portal and the way recruiting, you know, it's made up now, the smaller schools or the smaller divisions have now become like, you know, the AAA or AA in baseball.
Yeah, like you said, no matter when it comes to the next level, no matter what division it is, that's what we're pushing for, is they're able to extend their careers and play. And I just want to point out that goes into earlier the interception, Jester Williams with an interception from Longview. We said he's committed to play at Kilgore College, but as far as we know, in Texas, Kilgore College is one of those powerhouse JUCO teams that are playing for a national championship in the JUCO ranks, and they feed kids into the D1 levels as well. So as long as you're able to play at the next level, give yourself a chance. You're able to grow the game for yourself and your career as well.
Absolutely. Well, I think that, what you got to understand is, development is the key. And that's one thing that Coach Pugh at PPT Elite, they want to develop you. We're talking to Coach Pugh. He started this as a 7-on-7, organization, but they've branched off into actually playing organized football in the spring to give these guys that notoriety and that exposure. As we look like we have PPT Elite coming back out on offense as the penalty change field. Second quarter action, 12 minutes till halftime. PPT Elite down 7-0.
Great field position here for PPT Elite to start. So let's see if they're able to cook now. First quarter out the way. Let's see if they get those butterflies out and see if we can find that pay dirt.
Just a bit outside as they try to set up the screen, but the pressure was there again for FSP. Max Bridges, and that's also number 4, Trip Johnson, 6'3", 240 junior out of Wilmette High School.
And can't forget my guy right there, 57 in the backfield. Trying to get his name for you, but that is Nakai. Correct. That is Nakai playing possibly both ways on the defensive side. So, a lot of these players, too, we will see them play both sides of the ball, getting all those reps. So, versatile athletes are on display today. Coaches watching, you're able to tune in. You're going to get a guy who's willing to, do whatever it takes to help his team out.
And we got a turnover on downs as they went for it on 4th down in midfield. But now we get to see the FSP offense. Now, they had a turnover. Let's see if they go back to the ground game with this one, Adam. Pounds forward for a few yards. As you can see, Christian Irvin now, a sophomore, 5'10", 205 from O'Day High School up in the Washington area, pounds it forward for a few yards. As you can see, the offensive line is taking control of this game. And I think that you see FSP going back to the ground game with this one, Adam.
Yeah, even with the running back change to run it, it just looks like, this offense doesn't skip a beat. They're still moving flawlessly. So that's impressive to know as far as the depth goes and the type of athletes that FSP has.
Big stop on the game on the jet sweep. As you can see, the PPT Elite defense come up and make the stop on the play. And that's what you want to see from your guys as Pablo Aguero.
Yeah, 17 years old from College Station, Texas. In the backfield right there, getting that tackle for loss. You see right there in the replay, slips right through the offensive line when they're trying to pull right there. But great job by Aguero. College Station, proud to have him here representing here. And just all-around athlete getting in the backfield making plays.
Well, that's what you want to see from your defense. You got to get some penetration there. But now back to pass. He's got some pressure right up the middle. And the PPT Elite defense gets home on that one. Adam, that's what you want to see from your defensive line. You want to collapse the pocket and make some plays.
Yeah, great job right there by the defense. 55, Jasavion Smith, Jadarian Bradley. I think King Billingsley is in there in the backfield as well. Defense is waking up for PPT Elite. So, as they're able to get a couple of these stops, we just need that offense to cash in on a couple of points as well. But great showing right now on this drive for PPT Elite.
You mentioned Jadarian Brayley, who's out of Duncanville High School, 2029. He's a guy that's disruptive in there on the inside and battling all day. They get in there, and this is what you want to do. You want to put these guys in the 3rd and 4th and long situation as they go for it on 4th down here. Burnell back to pass. He looks right, finds a guy over the middle, just outside, and there's Pablo Aguero again on the hit to break that one up.
Man, bringing down the hammer on that one. Pablo Aguero right there, leaving that shoulder to cause that disruption of the pass and forcing that turnover. We check here on the DR Sports Network replay. You see right there at the second, as soon as that ball gets there, great timing by Pablo Aguero to get that stop and force the incompletion. His favorite player he listed as Tank Dell and Cole Beasley, but he's playing more like maybe
he's playing more like the Honey Badger or somebody, making plays in the backfield and then definitely coming up and bringing the wood out of the secondary. That's what you want to see from a DB as you want to see him do it cleanly. You know, a lot of times, you know, football has changed from the days of running line and Steve Atwater from the safety position where they clock you and you don't get up. But these guys are making plays. So that defense from PPT Elite's coming up big.
And if you want to note here, Pablo right here is on the offensive side now as you see him going in motion as well.
Got a little bit of movement there at the snap, but you mentioned a two-way player, College Station High School, College Station, Texas. That's in the heart of Texas high school football, as you can see, Aguero making that play. But I think that he's a guy that you definitely have to point out on that particular drive, especially defensively, that got those guys the ball back where they need to be. 7-0 lead, 9:41 left in the second quarter here from Capel High School in the DFW area.
Yeah, great start so far. We had an early score quick. If you're tuning in just now, we had an early quick score from FSP. But PPT Elite defense has, brought it back up since we've came back from that score. Haven't allowed any more points. And I think we do have a timeout as well on the field right here. But, yep, as you get a quick little summary, first was that score by FSP. PPT Elite, a couple of defensive stops, really battling that field position game, trying to pin each other back. But PPT Elite, they're on that cusp of trying to get to the end zone here and get the first points of the game.
Well, definitely, man, as we shout out our sponsor of today, OfferHound, using the power of AI to get athletes recruited and help coaches find them. This is what this is all about, AI-powered, parent-trusted, and NIL ready. That's OfferHound. Get recruited now. And you mentioned that, Adam, about these guys getting that exposure and getting some extra tape. Some of these guys, talking to Coach Pugh for PPT Elite, he's helped some of these guys get over 22 offers here in the spring, and get recruited is part of that. And the OfferHound is part of that. That's what you want to do, is you want to get these guys in front of the right eyes to get recruited.
Yeah, and I just want to go on to what basically, Coach Pugh, Jordan Pugh with this too. This is something he's been working on and cooking, for a couple of years now. Great job to see them be able to expand into the international side again. They played a team from Europe before, and this is a couple years running for them. So it's just an overall just a great opportunity for these athletes to get a much exposure against competition from everywhere.
Pablo Aguero doing it on both sides of the ball as he takes a jet sweep, cuts up field, and he's about 2 yards shy. I think he picks up 8 on that one. Pablo's showing some real aggressive nature, and then just versatility is the word I'm looking for on that one, Adam.
Yeah, I mean, he's shining on both sides of the ball, tackle for losses, PBUs, and a big gain right here on the offensive side. So, Pablo, all-around athlete, is performing to the highest level right now in this one.
I think, if you're looking for a guy that's right to stand out so far for PPT Elite, it's been him. And Hampton Williams with the interception. Second and about 3 for PPT Elite on this third drive of the half for those guys. Head off to Black up the middle. He pounds it, and it looks like he's got a first down on that one as Black gets north and gets quick. Now, we talked about him, DJ Black, that is, as one of the staple mates, two-headed monster. I talked to Coach Pugh before, Palmer and Black. He wants to see those guys get, some attention on the offensive side of the ball and pound the rock. As you can see, Black on that particular carry picks up the first down for PPT Elite. 1st and 10, PPT Elite. 2 running backs flanking. That is one of the big running backs for him in Black, next to Carlisle, as you can see in the huddle right there as they get ready to snap the ball. Gives it off to Black. He gets outside, picks up a few more. He's outside, and he makes a big-time gain as PPT Elite's offensive line has taken over in this particular drive. Adam.
Great job right there by the offensive line. A great run right there as well by TJ. You check the replay here. Great job. Read the offensive line. Moved those feet. Bounced it outside. Turned up upfield. And you see right here before he gets tackled, drops that shoulder to protect himself and get, maybe a yard or 2 as well. So not afraid of contact right there. Anything to move the ball forward. And PPT Elite is now in the red zone for the first time today.
Well, Black's a load. He's a guy that you're going to have. You can't arm tackle a big back like that, and he shows the wheels to get outside and the good vision to pick up the first down. PPT's on the move here in the second quarter here at Capel High School. Carlisle in the shotgun. There's a man in motion. Oh, he thinks about it, but he takes it himself and tucks it. As you can see, the great job by the FSP defense to jump in that screen. It was set up, but he read it very, very well on that one.
I mean, man, just a great job and great awareness right there by Carlisle, seeing that the defense already read it. Didn't force that throw, and he decided to take it himself. With with a little bit of space he had. We do have a flag on the play here as well, so we'll see if this will be against PPT or FSP. But still, just great awareness right now. To not have that play blow up in front of him by Carlisle and force anything worse than that.
We got a chop block on that. That means that while the player was engaged defensively, one of the offensive players cut him low, and that's what you have on that one. But back to Carlisle, the IQ to show not to throw that interception or throw an incomplete pass or cause a turnover. He turns it upfield, gets some positive yards, although the penalty negates that one. I think that shows that he's a heady guy with the football in his hands, and he's making plays and making the right plays for his offense on that one, Adam.
Yeah, but good. Overall, just great awareness right there by Carlisle, representing, I believe, Louisville High School, if I'm not mistaken, for them.
Frisco Reedy High School.
Frisco Reedy.
Yeah. Frisco Reedy High School played in 7 games last year. Started in the playoffs for Reedy as they made a playoff push last year. I think they lost in the second round, if I'm not mistaken, but Carlisle was the guy under center for Frisco Reedy for sure. Definitely a guy out of the Metroplex. That pushes it back. He goes back to pass. Actually got a little time here. Rolls out. Decides to chuck it out of bounds. There's nobody open, but this time he actually showed that he can move outside of the pocket and make those throws. I watched a little bit of his tape this weekend. His ability to we've seen him make plays with his feet. We've seen him get outside the pocket. Just hadn't been able to connect. The pressure from Bridges and company up front has been the difference in the game. Also, Trip Johnson as well. 2 bookends for FSP who have been really, really active up front for FSP so far in the game, Adam.
Yeah, I mean, Carlisle is still showing his athleticism, willing to extend the play as much as he can. If he may not have much time in the backfield, but he's going to do what he can to give his offense a chance to make any type of play for some positive yards. And I feel like, they've been able to have some good plays to move the ball downfield, but a couple of, self-inflicted wounds, a couple of penalties been pushing them back. But if this offense just keeps it rolling, they might be able to find something.
Bridges with some pressure early on in that particular play, gets to Carlisle, and he gets rid of it in time enough. Almost a big loss there, but his ability to move and get out of pressure has been able to keep these drives on. Again, 3rd and long here as PPT Elite has been behind the sticks. Got to figure out a way to get these guys up front to kind of stop that pressure. As you can see, Bridges and Trip Johnson have been in the backfield putting pressure whenever they had a chance to pass. The running game, though, for PPT Elite has been something that's been positive for them.
Yeah, if it's working right there, you kind of want to go back to it. I know it's a little bit more challenging now when you're this far in the sticks, but you're able to establish that run early, especially those early downs, 1st and 2nd down, maybe 2nd and short. Just keep that ball moving forward. You don't want to overdo it by forcing yourself to throw, because at that time the defense is already understanding your game plan by then.
Absolutely. I mean, I think you can look, at the PPT Elite offense hadn't been able to get in a rhythm. They've been able to get in a rhythm on the ground, but the passing game is something they've been able to struggle with. As you can see, Carlisle back, but there's Bridges' early pressure. Now he gets out of it and tries to get rid of it, but he doesn't have time to, as Bridges and company putting the pressure on. Almost a turnover there, but great job in awareness to get rid of the football and not take that loss. As you can see, Carlisle and his coaches talking here inside the huddle as you get a great look inside what the PPT offense is discussing there. And this is a time where we'll shout out the sponsor, OfferHound, who's helping these guys with recruiting. And that's what you want to do is you see these guys, Adam, getting that exposure, using the power of AI to get athletes recruited and help coaches find them. That is OfferHound. And they've been prominent working with these guys and working with PPT Elite and helping them get recruited.
Yeah, but great tool to use when you're at home. You let that AI work for you. Everyone's using it nowadays for leisure. Maybe some jokes, stuff like that. But you have the technology now to use it for you and have it work for you when you're at home, not much to do. Use it to the best of your ability. Just to boost and encourage your recruitment.
FSP with a big defensive stop there on that one as they get plenty of penetration on that. Again, Trip Johnson and company, some guys on that particular stop there. Hayden Cooner Also on that defensive stop for those guys. But you got to look at Max Bridges and Johnson defensively, two bookends that have been, really, really in the backfield for FSP and making stops there on the defense, Adam.
Yeah, the defense for FSP has been stout. Every time PPT tries to break away and move downfield, FSP defensive line has showed out as well from Max Bridges. Tanu Noah, Trip Johnson, as you said earlier, even Jalen Coleman in linebacker position as well. More of the leader of that defense, directing traffic. So great job on this defensive front here to limit the exposure against them from PPT.
Well, it looks like PPT caught a break. They got a face mask, personal foul on that last play, and they actually get a new set of downs. Now, if they can give him some time, Carlisle, that is, to operate, this could be a big play as they come out in a heavy formation here with bunch set up to the top. Quick pitch out, and the defense is there again. Max Bridges leading the charge for FSP.
Yep, Max Bridges and Jalen Coleman. We just mentioned them right there on that play. Again, they're not, shying away from anything today. Like I said, they're stepping up when it's needed most. PPT is threatening, but those two there are there to defend it and stop that momentum push.
As you can see, Palmer takes it, and then there's Bridges right there initially. Contact. He sets the edge from his edge position, and he lets him know about it as he's fired up. Now, again, FSP, coming all the way from Washington, they bring, some guys that you're seeing, seeing Bridges, we talked about him, we're seeing Johnson. This is some of the top talent in the Washington areas you get a chance to see going against, some of the Metroplex finest here in the state of Texas. And, from College Station, all around the state of Texas with PPT Elite. Carlisle looking, finds a guy outside, and it looks like we have an interception on the play as FSP looks to take it back. But I think he was ruled down on that one. Adam, what a pick there for FSP.
Yeah, great job right there by number 8. That's Daniel Haynes out of Rainier Beach High School, the junior, making plays today. We checked the GR Sports Network replay. Just came up on that. Look, maybe not confusion between the quarterback and receiver on the route, but Haynes was there to haul that interception here and to flip field and give FSP the ball back.
Well, Haynes has that range that you look for in a corner, 6'3", 190. You mentioned him, great range, great ball skills as he gets that one in. Now we got to see if this FSP offense can get on gear. That first drive, they went down and scored, but the PPT Elite defense has been right on them these last few drives. Great job by the offensive line there for FSP of giving him some room there to get loose. I think that you got to look at this offense. They've been able to establish it on the ground, and that's Royce Miller on the carry. As you can see outside here, Adam, he breaks out containment, cuts back, and then stiff arm, and then he carries a couple of guys as he picks up the first down.
Just great footwork right there, keeping his feet under him. And, honestly, for Royce, that stiff arm right there is working for him all day. It seems like every play he's going to do that to create separation and get a couple more yards.
Well, I think you're seeing what, FSP strong in the running game. Of course, this defense for PPT Elite has been opportunistic. You had Hampton Williams get an interception as well. As we mentioned, Aguero making a couple of big stops and a pass breakup. I think this defense knows that they have to get this ball back here with about 4 minutes and change left in this second quarter. As, it's been a back and forth affair. Just the PPT offense hasn't been able to get anything going. Bunnell, second down, looking across, steps up in the pocket, sees some running room, and he's brought down just short of the first down. And we have a flag on the play as well in the backfield, but Bunnell showing some wheels there, Adam.
Yeah, great job, Bunnell, using that 6'1" stride to his advantage right there. Like we see here, he scanned the field, perfectly, and noticed, hey, I have a better chance taking that field myself. And look at that, not afraid to take some contact right there to get a couple more yards. So a strong quarterback right there, they're willing to take some contact to keep the ball moving.
Well, it looks like the penalty was picked up, and a positive gain there for FSP as Brady Bunnell breaks loose. Second and short here for FSP with 3:45 remaining here in the second quarter from Capel High School. He takes the snap, hands it off. No, he pulls it. Got a man out in the space. And he gets loose as a big play on that with Adam for FSP as they get the first down. That's Eden Gilbert on the catch.
Great job right there, Eden Gilbert. First for Bunnell, faking that handoff you see here. Pulls it right there, runs, again, that RPO, working for FSP. And then as far as you can see right there, from Eden Gilbert right there, turning up a field, making a couple guys miss. Almost broke away on the last tackle, but wasn't able to keep his feet under him. A great gain right there for FSP. First down now.
Well, as you can see, Coach Jordan Pugh talking to his guys, telling his defense, he's a former defender himself, Texas A&M, Carolina Panthers. Pugh performance and training. He started this a while back, and now this is something that he's, promoting, something that he's really passionate about, is giving these kids the opportunity to get that exposure here in the state of Texas, playing some spring ball.
Yeah, I mean, we love to see it when you see, former athletes, maybe, turning into coaches, doing whatever they can to give back. Obviously there was someone out there that fed into him and his career, and, just great job seeing him be able to, reciprocate that, give it back to the next young athletes that are here to shine a day. We saw there on that timeout, he was able to talk to him. As far if I'm Jordan Pugh, more of that timeout, I'm trying to give my defense a breather and kind of praise them a little bit, because this defense for PPT is, what's keeping them in this game right here. Again, it's only 7-0. We're nearing halftime here, so this defense can get a hole and a stop right here. They have a chance, just to make some noise when we get to the second half.
Absolutely. I mean, you got to look at that's what Coach Pugh is most likely preaching to these guys. If we can get a stop here, hold them to this 7, we get a chance to possibly get our offense on the field and get some momentum going here. And I think that's the difference in the game right now. We got a tight knit contest. FSP, you mentioned in the first quarter they dominated that first drive. Martin gets in on a big score, but other than that, that defense for PPT's made the adjustments to tighten things up.
Yeah, it was just a great showing, giving themselves a chance. That quote saying goes, defense wins championships. This isn't per se a championship, game. You're not playing for a trophy today, but, we're able to keep your guys in this game here. Just going to wake up that offense when you get back into the huddle and say, hey, man, we got to get some points to reward our defense for the stout performance they're giving today.
Absolutely. I think this defense is keeping them in the game, and they got to get some more pressure. Maybe an interception here or a fumble. That could kind of change the tide. But, I think Brady Burnell, that is the quarterback, and the FSP offense starting to really get in a rhythm here on this drive. 1st and 10. Texas snap, hands it off. He gets upfield. Great job as he shows off the shiftiness in space.
You saw right there, Upke put his foot to the ground and then hit the B button, spin move right there. And again, it's taken, 2-3 defenders to stop him. So you just check here on the DR Sports Network replay. Upke just standing in that backfield, takes the handoff, and what
a spin move.
Arm, spin move, foot in the ground.
Absolutely.
Just great play and great run right there by Upke to get downfield, and look at that right there, moving the sticks once again.
Well, Upgate's shown that, hey, he can put you in the spin cycle. He's got that shiftiness and that change of gear inside as they get back on the ball that you want from a running back. Always going forward, always falling forward, but the ability to make guys miss, he was almost stonewalled there in the backfield, but he makes the play and gets positive yardage.
Yep. But even though with that positive yardage, it looks like there's a penalty on the field on the offense, so that'll move them back, making this first play a 1st and 12. But it doesn't matter for the FSP offense. They keep moving downfield and get the first down again.
Upgate's really showing that jitterbug quickness that you see coming out of the backfield, and they're on the move again with 2 minutes and change left here in the second quarter. FSP on top 7-0 over PPT Elite. Can they punch it in? That's the key. 1st and 10, FSP at the 30-yard line, 29-yard line going in. Second quarter action here from Capel High School. Upgate again, breaks it up in the middle. He's in the secondary for a first down for FSP. This is the guy right now on this particular drive, Adam.
Upgate just moving downhill on this drive. 3 plays, 3 first downs on this drive already for Upgate. You just saw him right here taking that handoff right there, but you got to give props to that old line, 57, the center, Nakai Santavale, on leading the way, Gabe Populus, Kamani Kalakahi as well. Again, so, Upke is turning it up on field of extra yards, but that front line for FSP is, making the path open for them.
Now, we talked about this being the spring for these guys, and I think this is important. You mentioned these guys in the trenches for FSP, getting that extra work in the spring. Talk about how important it is for these offensive linemen to get that continuity going into, what will be spring and fall heading into 2026.
Now, when it comes to the offensive line, everything when you're in the trenches is more muscle memory. You're trying to remember, hand movements, hand placement when you're protecting your quarterback as well, especially when a defender is coming right at you to cause havoc. So when it comes to offensive line or anything in the trenches at all, it's muscle memory. It's muscle memory in the trenches, and you're just trying to, iron sharpens iron. So as long as you're getting those reps, it's just benefiting you to the fullest right now. And this offensive line is using all their ability here to protect their quarterback and clear the way for the running back to turn up upfield.
Irvin with the carry, but the PPT elite defense is there on the stop. Big number 57 on that one for PPT elite comes up and stonewalls Irvin in the backfield.
Yeah, Lazaro Cooper right there in the backfield to get that stop. As you see here on the replay, he was able to fight off the defender and go right at Upke right there to stop him from getting any more yards for a big game.
And another tackle on the assist on the tackle, Pablo Aguero, who's been a guy that's been prominent on both sides of the football for PPT Elite. If you had to ask me right now, he's probably the MVP on both sides of the ball for PPT Elite, outside of Hampton Williams. But he's been on tackles, he's been on pass breakups, he had some positive plays on offense. Pablo Aguero's a player, Adam.
Yeah, College Station, home of the Cougars. If you're back home watching Cougar Nation, you got something to be proud of representing that purple and white. A great high school here in Texas as well. That has a lot of rich history in the playoffs. So I'm excited to see possibly Pablo in the fall as well, as he's wrapping up the end of his spring ball season.
Absolutely. This is a big play for the defense here with just about over 60 seconds left in the first half. Draw. And the PPT Elite defense comes up big again. Brayley in there from Duncanville High School on that one. As you can see, big number 54 right there getting penetration.
Yep, the defense right there for PPT Elite causing havoc. The number 8, Zatari Palmer, 18, Jester Hampton Williams, and Jadarian Brayley, as you said, all right there causing havoc. Limiting Upke from turning it upfield. He's a player who's able to make big plays. So if they're able to limit him today, they stay in this one.
3rd and long. Burnell back. Looks outside. Incomplete. The defense holds again.
Great job right there by Isaiah Thomas on the coverage right there, forcing that. He goes to Panther Creek High School, represented Frisco up north in the far north Dallas area. So great stand right there by the defense. They're able to get the ball back to the offense here as we're nearing the end of this one. See if we get a couple of fireworks before we head into halftime.
Well, it looks like they're going to go for it as they're just a bit outside of field goal range. 4th and long, 4th and goal. Can they convert? Watch the receiver to the top there. Looks like they might be setting up to isolate him for a fade ball over there. Snaps over his head, but he retrieves it. Looks upfield. And, it's incomplete as the PPT Elite defense hangs in there and gets another stop. Adam, this defense is stout right now.
Great job right there. Obviously, we check this replay. The snap not entirely off from that defense, but great job on that botch snap right there to still play back and be a coverage. But you see there a little bit of a tip drill right there to cause that incompletion. But PPT Elite in coverage right there, forcing that turnover on down. So getting that ball back again. Great job by the defense. They're holding that FSP offense to that only 7 so far.
Well, I talked to Coach Pugh before the game, and he was really adamant about how scrappy this defense is. And they're showing up. They're proving that they have what it takes to hold an offense right now. It's only got 7 points, as you can see inside the huddle as the offense takes the field again with 25 seconds right here, pinned back deep in their own territory. Could they spring a big run or something right here? I mean, I think if I'm the coach or if I'm looking at it offensively, guys, we're still in this game. But if we get a big play here that puts us over the top, as you can see, the safeties are really deep for FSP right now. But I think if I'm Coach Pugh, I know that these guys are a play away from being tied up with FSP in this game.
Yeah, with this game, already, 24, 25 seconds left in the half in this offense, you might, like you said, the defense already showed they're going to play back. I was going to say, if you take this drive, you would have to, use this as a couple of reps just to get that offense flowing. But it does look like PPT will just take this one to the half at this one. And, again, still only got a close game. 7-0. FSP is up here after one half of gameplay.
I think that this is anybody's game in the second half, as you see FSP taking in a 7-0 lead at halftime right here on the DR Sports Network and the PPT Network. I am Mark Henry along with Adam Sandoval. We'll take a break at halftime, and we'll see you in the second half.
OfferHound, the most powerful AI platform for high school athletic recruiting. Athletes build a pro profile and reach coaches with patent-pending AI letters. Parents navigate NIL with our patent-pending family decision ledger. Coaches discover overlooked talent with patent-pending smart matching. Free forever. Patent-pending AI across 13 sports. OfferHound. Get recruited. Get noticed.
In 2019, we started with one goal: dominate. Our 7-on-7 teams hit the ground running, making noise in every tournament, flying high, and putting the nation on notice. By 2020, we leveled up, launching our national middle school program. First season, we went straight to the semifinals. No flukes, just talent, preparation, and purpose. In 2021, we knew it was time to give our big dogs the spotlight. Our trench team was born, finally giving linemen the platform they deserve to shine. But we weren't done. In 2022, we answered the call for bigger opportunities. We launched our national high school tackle team, opening the door to national exposure and real college offers. Over 55 athletes from our program have earned scholarships and have taken that next step. Now, we're taking everything we've built, every rep, every mile, every championship, and we're bringing it together to form the premier high school football development program in the state of Texas. We're uniting elite players to compete together, to gain national exposure, and to prepare for the real grind of college football, and to bridge the gap between exposure and scholarships. In 2026, the game changes. If you're an elite athlete, if you're highly recruited, if you want to play with the best in Texas, if you want to compete on a national stage, this is your home, this is your moment. This is PPT Elite. In 2019, every play starts and ends in the trenches. At PPT Elite, we built the national team so offensive and defensive linemen can dominate, get college-level coaching, and get the recognition they deserve. Guys like Keith Smith at Wayne State, Tyson Jones at Washburn University, Nana Osafo-Mensah at Notre Dame and TCU, and Casey Okongwu at Texas Southern all earned scholarships after coming through this program. This is where overlooked linemen become problems on the field. If you got the size, the motor, and the mindset, this is your shot to shine. DM Trenches to apply for the PPT Elite National Team, where we play real football, get real exposure, but most importantly, get real results. Every play starts and ends in the trenches. At PPT Elite, we built the national team so offensive and defensive linemen can dominate, get college-level coaching, and get the recognition they deserve. Guys like Keith Smith at Wayne State, Tyson Jones at Washburn University, Nana Osafo-Mensah at Notre Dame and TCU, and Casey Okongwu at Texas Southern all earned scholarships after coming through this program. This is where overlooked linemen become problems on the field. If you got the size, the motor, and the mindset, this is your shot to shine. DM Trenches to apply for the PPT Elite National Team, where we play real football, get real exposure, but most importantly, get real results.
OfferHound, the most powerful AI platform for high school athletic recruiting. Athletes build a pro profile and reach coaches with patent-pending AI letters. Parents navigate NIL with our patent-pending family decision ledger. Coaches discover overlooked talent with patent-pending smart matching. Free forever. Patent-pending AI across 13 sports. OfferHound. Get recruited. Get noticed. OfferHound, the most powerful AI platform for high school athletic recruiting. Athletes build a pro profile and reach coaches with patent-pending AI letters. Parents navigate NIL with our patent-pending family decision ledger. Coaches discover overlooked talent with patent-pending smart matching. Free forever. Patent-pending AI across 13 sports. OfferHound. Get recruited. Get noticed.
Welcome back to the DR Sports Network and the PPT Network YouTube channel. I am your host, Mark Henry, along with Adam Sandoval. 7-0, the Southbound Showdown between some top players from the state of Washington and definitely some top players from the state of Texas as PPT Elite and FSP hook up for some spring football. Adam, talk about the first half.
First half, we started off quick from the FSP offense, with scoring early on the first opening drive. Offense led by, Brady Bunnell and Emidon Upke. They've been stout today with this FSP offense, moving that ball downfield. But the PPT defense has been awesome as well, limiting the points. Again, only allowing that touchdown early, but they've locked in and haven't allowed any more points up on the board. And keeping their offense in this one, has been a big contribution to this game.
Yeah, you mentioned Upke and Martin definitely pounding the rock. That's the difference in the game, is a Martin touchdown for FSP, giving them a 7-0 lead. I think that you look at the interception by Hampton Williams and Pablo Guerrero on the defensive side, as well as Braley and some other guys up front that have been keeping the PPT Elite defense in it. Of course, Jordan Pugh's a defender in his own right, playing at Texas A&M and Carolina Panthers. So I would expect the defense to be stout. That's his cup of tea. He's really one of those guys on the defensive side of the ball that you can lean on from the coach perspective. But I think that's the reason they're in this game. Of course, FSP will get the ball back to start the second half, but that defense, as you see Hampton Williams from Longview High School taking this one back on the interception. Only Burnell stopped him from scoring there. As you can see, the PPT Elite defense has been able to kind of stop the momentum of FSP in the first half.
Yep, so we should have an exciting second half ahead of us today in this one. Like you said, FSP will get the offense back. So great, good timing right there on that halftime to come up after the defense was able to get that final stand before heading into the tunnel. But we're back. Let's see if this defense could keep it in and steal a possession again here to get the ball back to the offense to possibly get some points on the board.
Well, we mentioned the PPT guys really doing a wonderful job on defense, but I think you also got to look at Max Johnson for FSP, who's been a terror on defense, causing pressure, tackles for loss. He's been a guy that's been prominent and been in the backfield a lot for FSP. As we get the kickoff back, FSP taking it up. He's at 15 to 20, takes it upfield. He's got a window. He's outside, and it looks like he's got some real estate, and he's going to score as he gets on the board for FSP on the return, Adam.
That is Nick Sims out of Bellevue High School with the speed. Great job, great run, great finish right there. FSP scoring on the opening kick to start the second half.
Well, that's what you're looking for. You're looking for splash plays, explosive plays, and FSP gets one right out of the gate with the kick return for sixes. Look, we actually got two number fives running with each other on that one as he escorts his guy in the end zone for FSP. The explosive play, that's what you get there, Adam.
We haven't seen many touchdowns today, so one from the offense, one from special teams right there. FSP using that to their advantage right there to create this separation. If they wasn't able to score with the offense on the field, with the defense there, might as well score when that PPT defense is on the sideline. So great job, great execution right there for FSP to take now a 2-possession lead.
Extra point is up and good. And it's a 14-0 lead for FSP that quick, Adam, with the opening kickoff.
Yep, again, I said we were excited for an exciting second half, and we started off with some fireworks on that one. So great job by FSP. Early jump to this game, early start to the second half as a whole. But now we can see this PPT offense. Was really intrigued to see if they can answer back here and get up on the board.
Well, great job by the FSP special teams of creating a hole, and I think that you could see, special teams is a priority for any team, but FSP uses that to their advantage to get on the board quick here in the second half with 11:43 remaining in the third quarter as they come out and they hit a big play, hit a big home run. Now, the PPT Elite offense gets to get back on the field. Coming out of halftime, what do we need to see from these guys in order to get them on the scoreboard, Adam?
Really got to establish that run. That has been the most successful concept that has worked for them today in this one, in the big games that they've had. So if you get to that, expose that front line. Use Carlisle's athleticism in the backfield as well. Let him use his feet a little bit more to create some depth as far as moving downfield. So if they're able to do that, I think PPT can get back in there and find themselves in the end zone.
And we got the kickoff, PPT Elite deep. Looking for some room upfield. Doesn't get much as FSP is there with a wall of defenders as he doesn't get much room. This is the difference in the field position in the game as well so far. PPT Elite's been on their side of the field most of the game, Adam.
Yeah, I mean, as a whole, this game has been a field position battle for sure. So, but on that kickoff right there, FSP swarming to the ball, got there in a hurry to limit the extra yards after that catch for the return. So, if FSP is able to keep pinning this PPT offense back into their own territory, they might be able to move a little bit more comfortable as this game keeps going on.
And that was Gavin Armstrong on the return. Didn't have much room to work, but he got what he could get at that particular time as the FSP defenders were all over him on that one. Carlisle and company back on offense, hands it off, little room up front, but that defense for FSP is stout on that one, Adam.
There's Atari Palmer right there on that. Looks like he was ready to burst out of that backfield right there. Was tripped up at the last second. You check here on the DR Sports Network replay as Palmer takes that handoff. Right there, and great tackle, great shoelace tackle right there.
Yasin Yusuf Jr. out of Tahoma High School, 5'11", 215, gets in the backfield and limits Palmer to about a gain of a yard and a half. Second down as Carlisle and company have to get some things established here. Back to pass, takes off outside, he gets some room, great stiff arm, it gets out of bounds. You can see the athleticism is there for Carlisle.
Yeah, I mean, the defensive front, broke that line to start with, but great job by Carlisle. Great awareness, good speed right there. You see on the DR Sports Network replay, Carlisle scans, pocket collapse, and just took that ball, took it upfield, stiff arm right there. Get a couple 2-3 yards as well. So they'll bring up a 3rd and 5, so a little bit more manageable now for the PPT offense. See if they get a first down to reset the chains.
Now, DJ Carlisle Jr. mentioned that Aaron Rodgers is one of his favorite players. Look at the little Aaron Rodgers that's on the scramble there.
And not afraid to keep those feet moving right there. So great job right there by Carlisle, able to mimic or mirror one of his favorite players.
Back to pass, completion outside, but the defense is right there on that one for FSP as they get the stop.
Yeah, good reception right there by Mateo Medina right there on that stop route. He takes his route, turns immediately around. Great throw right there by Carlisle. We'll look again on the replay. Rocket. As soon as Mateo turns around, that ball is ready for him. But great defense to stand there by the DB.
Caden Johnson, he's only a sophomore.
Yeah, right there. Getting that stop. Stops him right in front of the sticks. So we got a 4th and inches here, and it looks like PPT Elite's going to go for it.
Well, this is where you got to lean on Black and Palmer in that running game and possibly maybe, Carlisle Jr. on the quarterback option read. But I got to give it to my backs here. This offensive line has to get the push and get this first down to keep these guys in this football game.
Give yourself a chance right here. Reset and rethink.
Scoops, it looks like he's close. We'll have to see here. The way the FSP defense is looking is that they got to stop here, Adam.
Yeah, great defensive stand right there. Off the snap, it looked like the hot dogs were going here on that 4th down try. You see Max Bridges already in the backfield right there Also, number 4, Trip Johnson. They penetrated that outfit, that backfield in a hurry to get that defensive stand, turn the ball over, and now FSP back on offense in plus territory.
And that was Jaden Hammer laying the hammer on that one from his strong safety position. FSP back on offense with the football, 1st and 10 inside the 30-yard line. Martin outside, he's got some room, shakes a tackle, builds his momentum forward as he gets a positive gain there for FSP on the 1st down carry, Adam.
Yeah, great job right there by FSP offense. Going back to what's working for him, that groundwork. As you saw right here, takes that handoff. And again, one thing about these FSP running backs is it's always the 2nd or 3rd tackler or defender that's going to bring them down. It's never the 1st. So you're able to get that extra yardage after contact. It's always a plus to benefit your offense.
Well, Martin and Upke have really been, the 2 guys that have led the ground attack. Miller, Royce Miller and Upke have been leading the charge on that particular, in the run game as well. Great contact balance, his ability to shake defenders like you mentioned. It's interchangeable between these guys when they get in and get the chance to run the rock. And you can see there's a penalty there on the defense. Yeah, and that's automatic 1st down, 1st and goal for FSP.
Yeah, on the end of that play, as the tackle's being made, the ref got the defense up for a face mask right there. So that walk-off right there will move up FSP into the red zone as they're only a couple yards away from the end zone.
There he is again, right on the outside. And it looks like he gets in. That's Royce Miller for his 2nd touchdown on the night.
Great finish right there to the drive. And Royce Miller just not being denied today. 2 touchdowns onto the stat sheet for him. We check the DR Sports Network replay. Just handing it off. Again, that ground game is bread and butter working for FSP. And they're not going to shy away from it. If it's not broke, don't fix it. So FSP now, early in this 3rd quarter, early in the 2nd half, scored twice already, and now we're up 3 possessions.
Well, you got to look at that offensive line that you've mentioned them in the broadcast about how they're controlling the tempo and controlling the line of scrimmage, and it's been to their advantage of Miller and Upke, as well as Irvin, who's had some big runs. That offensive line is taking control, as you can see. The point after was attempted.
Yeah, it was attempted, Mark, but no good.
No good.
Pablo Aguero was on the block right there, so they can play the defense, they can play the offense, and on special teams right now. So Pablo Aguero is laying it out all on the field today in this one for PPT. It may be down, but Pablo, man, his game has been up.
Well, I like what Pablo brings, the versatility we mentioned, and we made a couple of plays on the offensive side of the football, and now he's making those plays on the defensive side of the football. I mean, when college coaches look at these guys, this is what they want to be able to do. They want to see guys that are versatile, that have the ability to be plugged in and play any position that they need them at. This guy is showing it that he can do it well, and he's bringing the hat for PPT Elite on the offensive and defensive side of the football.
Yes, just overall great showing right here. But FSP as a whole has been performing great today as far as the offensive side, cashing in on all their plus territory possessions, and on defense too. Big 4th down stop earlier, so and to give the ball back, see if PPT Elite could find something in their offense here to maybe get a positive gain.
Great special teams by FSP as they've been able to keep Armstrong and company on that particular carry in negative territory when they start on the offensive side of the football. That's what they're doing right now. The FSP defense and special teams have been prominent, especially with the kick return. That's what you're looking at so far. That's been the summary of this game: special teams and the running game for FSP.
Yeah, all regarding both the speeds. You got your speedsters on special teams to get downfield, and then your running game, will they able to turn into 2nd gear? So this, the speed right here for FSP, kind of fitting for the name, force performance, showing off that forward speed. So just great job, great display so far for SFP and the team. All these, young student athletes having a great showing representing the great state of Washington.
Absolutely. Now, PPT Elite's got to get something going offensively. Carlisle hasn't had much time to drop back and pass as, Max Bridges and Trip Johnson have been, pretty disruptive in the backfield. What do you got to do here to get these guys rolling?
I just say go all in on RPO right here. You know, you don't have a lot of time in the pocket. It's always going to be a lot of ruckus in the backfield. So you create the RPO, it's going to force that defense to lay off a little bit to see, you know, you have to decide, am I going to defend that run or pass on this play? So I think that's something that you should probably reach into that playbook for. There's a lot of RPO plays here for this PPT offense just so they can get this ball moving for the offense.
Absolutely. You got to get the ball in the hands of Palmer, DJ Black, some of these playmakers. And we definitely mentioned Pablo Aguero as being a guy. We've got to get the ball in the hands of these guys to make some plays here to get your offense going. Palmer on the outside. Carlisle got a guy open. Just a bit outside, as you saw. DJ Carlisle Jr. able to get outside the pocket, but just a bit outside of Armstrong there as he rolled out here, Adam.
Yeah, you saw Armstrong had a step on the defender right there as he broke free, but just looked like it might have been a little bit underthrown. To check out the replay, yeah, just a little bit behind. You saw Armstrong wanted to keep it, taking it downfield, so you know, unfortunate right there on that one, but it was able to escape, you know, possibly a tackle for loss on that one as well. But now a 3rd and long situation again here for PPT.
The defender on the coverage there for FSP, Caden Johnson, who's been a guy in the defensive backfield, only a sophomore from Bellevue High School on that particular pass defense. Carlisle back to pass. He's got a man in his face, and it looks like Bridges is there again. And we got some flags on the play, but Bridges has been a monster in the backfield all day long.
Yeah, that flag right there is going to be for intentional grounding on that. But look at the replay here. Bridges fired off the line like a cannon. And had the quarterback in his hands before he could even decide where he wanted to throw. Carlisle tried to get it off, but takes that intentional grounding penalty. But again, that defense by Bridges and Johnson leading that forefront, 4th and forever now. Looks like they got to punt this one away to end this drive.
Well, Bridges has been, he's been in the backfield consistently from Glacier Peak High School in Washington, class 227, 44 tackles, 18 sacks, 10 for loss, and this was his junior season. That's high production. That's a guy that you got to look at as being one of these guys that's been prominent defensively for FSP today. 4th down, and the punt is over his head. Oh. Can he get it off? And look who's there. And he gets the punt off and hits a man. Can they get on it? Get on it. And it looks like PPT might actually have a chance to get it. That's Jadarian Brayley on that particular recovery. Can they get it? And then it's a 1st down for PPT Elite as it hits a player there, and Brayley is there to recover it. A heads-up play by the Duncanville standout.
I was just about to say, that was just a crazy play from the start. We saw the snap hit over the head. Great job by the punter, escaping the defender right there, and still able to get the kickoff. In a situation like that, that's all you need to do is just get that kickoff. And you're able to. As a coach once told me earlier, playing any sport, it was always put the ball in play, give yourself a chance. He put the ball in play, hit the FSP defender, and great job by PPT Elite to jump on it right there. You know, they're able to escape the punt, and they get the ball back, and now they have a 1st down offense back on the field.
Well, great job by Brayley thinking, having the IQ and awareness to jump on that football, and that's the difference in the play he makes. It bounces off of an FSP player, and now PPT Elite's in business, but they gotta have some offensive continuity here, Adam, to get back in this game.
Yeah, they gotta capitalize on these turnovers per se for that they've been able to force. That's 2 turnovers that PPT Elite has been able to retrieve on. So see if they can capitalize here with the points they needed fast.
DJ Carlisle scrambling as the pressure was put on by Johnson and Bridges on that snap, but he's able to get back to the line of scrimmage and not take a sack. He maybe gets a couple inches, maybe a half yard on that particular play. But his ability to escape pressure has been able to keep this drive alive and been able to keep drives alive for PPT Elite here, Adam.
Yeah, if they're able to just keep these positive yards, they're able to get those 2-3 yards per play with on offense. But They can't really take any more self-inflicted wounds. No tackle for losses. It may seem small, 2-3 yards, but a couple of plays, you got a good manageable third and fourth down. So if they're able to do that, add those little couple of nickels and pennies, they could probably come up with the big, shiny dollar.
Absolutely. They got to make some plays. They got to give the quarterback some time up front to make some plays. Hands it off to Palmer. He squirts up the middle, gets about 3 or 4. That's the first crease that he's had in a couple of drives, and he stays alive as he gets upfield for a positive gain for PPT Elite. Third down, what are you looking for here offensive from PPT? They got to get past the sticks on this one now.
Yeah, like I said, the yards added up and a good gain right there. So 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3, I believe, right here. So the offense, again, what has worked as far as their passing routes is a couple of those stop routes at the sticks. So if they're able to get that just to reset those chains again, just to build that chemistry and keep the ball moving. You want this snowball to keep building as you're getting downhill into this game.
Absolutely, you got to get some positive yards here. You got to get the first down to back this defense up as they send the blitz. Palmer outside, but he doesn't have much room as the FSP defense responds with a tackle for loss on that one, Adam.
Yep, the defense in the backfield immediately again right there. That's number 10 for FPS on that tackle. That's Jalen Coleman out of Woodinville High School. You saw here, able to wrangle up the running back and get him to the turf to force that tackle for loss. And now another 4th and medium for PPT Elite.
And Trip Johnson, definitely another guy that's been prominent along that front with the tackle as well, as you see inside the huddle for FSP as they get ready to return this kick. Now it's important to get the punt off to change the trajectory of this field position. He gets it off. Rios is back. Oh, he muffs it. He touches it. He muffs it again. And the PPT Elite defense is there for the stop. He just couldn't get a handle on that one. He had some room there, Adam.
I mean, just overall, still a great punt right there by the punter. He gets it off, and you see the replay. If that running back has to turn his shoulders to go get it, it's a decent punt. Over-the-shoulder catches are very challenging to make as a whole, so that's why he's unable to come up with it. And as that ball just kept rolling deep into the backfield, running the receiver, the kick returner is able to jump on it. But nonetheless, a good punt and a good standing ground right here for PPT Elite to pin him back a little bit.
Well, he's facing some of those Texas swirling winds as we had some inclement weather in Texas last night. Sirens going off, hail everywhere. It's still kind of windy, and he had a tough time corralling that one. As we got a quarterback change here for FSP, as Upke is up the middle again on the outside for a positive gain.
That's the offense for FSP, just going back to what's working for them. Okay, with their two-headed monster in the backfield, Royce Miller and and Emidion Upke in the backfield, just leading the forefront right there for them. But then those guys, I'm sorry, Mark, just got to give it. The big boys need love too. The boys in the trenches for FSP leading the way. Baker Pohina was up there on that play, leading the way and creating some space for his running back.
Upke outside again, lose a tackle. Looks like he's going to be close to a first down. We've got a quarterback change. That's Antoine Williams Jr., 6'6", 205 from Decatur High School. Only a sophomore, Adam, under center.
Yeah, so great young quarterback, in getting these reps. They were able to see them in the warm-ups as well. We saw Antoine Williams, a great build, 6'6", as a quarterback. So, he's able to, extend and stretch the field just by his frame as a whole. So, a lot of great attributes right here from this young man to be built into a great quarterback.
Absolutely. And getting a chance to get some live reps in the offseason, that's what you're looking for. And that's what all of these guys are out here doing, Adam, is they want to get some live reps, some tape as well to get themselves in a position to be recruited, and this is definitely what's going on today.
Looks like we had a penalty as well that gave a couple more yards for FSP to give him a first down underneath the 40.
Epke showing his great versatility as he gets outside, passing Williams to the running back on the outside as Upgate continues to drive up the stat sheet at him.
Yep, reception yards and rushing yards for Upke in this one right here, but let's run out into the flats. Great concept right there by the FSP offense. Have those receivers on that side of the ball. Take those DBs downfield to clear the way for OK, and just turns it upfield with green grass. Another first down for the FSP offense.
Absolutely. As you see, Williams taking the snap, takes it himself up the middle, extends, falls forward for about 7 or 8 on a pickup. We're talking about a guy in his sophomore season that was first-team all-league as a quarterback up in Federal Way, Washington. Of course, a class 2028 standout, standing 6'6". This is a guy that you want to get eyes on as you get a chance to see inside the FSP huddle as he takes the reins for FSP Academy here in the third quarter.
Now, one thing that's very impressive with this offense is even with the quarterback change, the flow and tempo of the offense hasn't changed at all. It's been working seamlessly for him in this transition right here as his offense is moving full throttle.
Throws it outside, and he's got his receiver open as they, again, convert another first down. Williams Jr. is looking real sharp here coming out in the third quarter, Adam.
Yeah, a lot of great completions, making his reads right, making his reads correctly on that one. He connects with Edith Gilbert on that reception right there. Great job by Gilbert. Got to the sticks, turned around for the ball right there. But Antoine Williams had that ball ready for him as well once he was on that break. So great job right there by Williams in the offense. Another first down.
Hands it off, takes it himself outside. As he's showing his dual threat ability. Standing at 6'6", he's got some wheels, and he falls forward for some positive yards as you see inside the FSP sidelines. All smiles with a 20-0 lead here in the third quarter of PPT Elite. Check out Williams on this one, Adam.
Yeah, Williams is just great. Again, with the 6'6" frame, like I said, he's able to stretch the field. You see that long strides. Even if he's getting hit, he's still moving forward to get the ball downfield.
Incomplete pass outside. Third down. Now, critical third down for FSP on this one as they're in control right now offensively, Adam. Williams Jr.'s come in and move the offense. As you can see, these guys have the continuity, and they don't miss a beat. You mentioned that in this particular drive at quarterback.
Yep, and this is a great – we talked about, everyone getting these reps here, especially this being spring ball. In season. So this is a great rep right here, I feel like, for Williams. This is a third down, his first third down to face in the day. So love to see how he's able to react to this as they're lining up on offense.
Looks like we're going to have a timeout on the field. There's a little bit of confusion offensively there, but I think that Williams has shown that he can come out and direct this offense as we take a break here with 3 minutes and change left in the third quarter. This is an opportunity to check out our sponsor, OfferHound. Using the power of AI to get athletes recruited and help coaches find them. AI-powered, parent-trusted, and NIL-ready. That's OfferHound. Helping these guys get recruited, Adam. I think this is a great opportunity for guys. If we talk about them getting recruited, OfferHound's at the cusp of getting this thing rolling for some of these guys.
Yeah, one thing I want to point out that's kind of separates OfferHound from a lot of other resources is them being NIL ready. NIL has changed the game in the college landscape. So again, another tool that's added to this to the game. OfferHound preparing young student athletes for the NIL side as well. That's something very challenging. A lot of young athletes don't understand fully, what that entails. So that's something too that stands out with OfferHound is that NIL readiness to prepare these young guys as they're getting ready to perform on the next level.
Big time hit for PPT Elite defense as the receiver came around, had a little open ground, but he ran into a wall as the PPT Elite defense stands tall.
What a tackle right there by Antoine Jones right there. Textbook, I would say. Stayed square, kept his head up, made contact, laid the hammer, wrapped up as well to take him down safely. But great tackle. The big thing right there as well, it brings up a fourth down.
Well, this is crucial. This defense has to stand up and get FSP off the field. Fourth down. Handoff, Irvin, stonewalled. And it looks like the PPT Elite defense has stood up again, Adam.
Great job right there by the PPT Elite defense. We've talked about this defense in the first half, keeping them within 7. Obviously, the offense and special teams was able to separate themselves for SSP, but the defense still, again, stand still, roadblock defense right there to force the turnover on downs.
Great job by the defense of standing up, the runner right at the point of attack, right in the hole, and it looks like they have a personal foul on the defense as they bail out FSP on this one, Adam.
Just self-inflicting wounds. It's been something that stopped this PPT Elite team, this game, is those self-inflicting wounds happening at crucial moments. You never want those to happen on first down when you gain a first down, or let alone on when you have a potential turnover on downs right there. But that penalty does bail out the FSP offense on this one. They get a second chance now. FSP back into the red zone, I believe, again, and have a chance here to add more points to the board.
Well, the defense has been, really keeping them in this game and keeping this thing close. But bailing them out with the penalties on that particular drive when they actually get a stop is what's hurting them as a team. Handoff right outside, but the defense is there again to stop Upgay from getting more yardage. The PPT elite defense has been what you want to see today. And it's Palmer playing on both sides of the ball, makes the tackle on that one.
Messiah Lawson as well on the coverage right there. I think big 53 right there with the gator tackle. Wrapped those feet up and rolled with him. So great technique right there by Messiah Lawson as well to get into that backfield and force that tackle.
Well, it looks like the PPT Elite defense has made an adjustment. They've gone from a three-man front to a four-man front to kind of offset that running game, which has been prominent for those guys. And Williams back. Got a man, and it's a touchdown for FSP on the reception. Big-time grab. Big number one for FSP. Adam on that one as they get the score.
Caden Taylor right there, the freshman out of Odeya High School, gets his touchdown reception in this spring showdown here. You saw the dime thrown right there by the quarterback. Again, Tatum hauls it in and gets the foot in. 6 points added to FSP. Young ballers balling today in this one.
Absolutely. Two guys in the state of Washington that you're going to know about around the country now looking at this national broadcast. But I think that you got to look at Williams coming in and directing traffic. As you can see, the coach is telling him he's that man. He's the guy. You need to know who Tatum is. Only a freshman, the class of 2029. This is something that you get a chance to see as he gets the congratulatory celebrations with his teammates. The extra point is no good. But still, FSP is on top here with a substantial lead, 26-0, with about a minute and 46 seconds left in the third quarter, Adam.
That's something I want to tap into a little bit on the FSP offense, led by the underclassmen. We see, with these rosters we have, a lot of, juniors, some seniors on the field, that's kind of, they're coming here for that. They need that extra push in this game for that field of recruitment. But for FSP, the underclassmen still balling here, giving, obviously get a head start in the game, in the recruitment game, with a strong performance like this in this game.
Well, definitely, Williams Jr. comes in. He shows that he's, the reason he was first team all-league in his conference up in the state of Washington. And then Tatum, you mentioned making a big catch, outstretched arms. We're talking about a guy that's about 6'3", going against a very good defensive back for PPT Elite. The defense has been there. It's the PPT offense that just hadn't been able to get things rolling. Just able to get the passing game roll. They've been making some plays in the run game. They gave up a special teams touchdown, and that's the difference in the game right now.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like a lot of it seems like a bigger difference than what it is. But again, I still have to give props to the PPT defense. They're doing as much as they can. Really main thing I would have to say point out, if anything, it's just that PPT Elite is just get a little exhausted, a little tired. They are leaving it out all on the field. Trying to limit as much as they can. But, this offense for PPT Elite, if they could get rolling, just find that end zone once or twice right here to close that gap, would just be very, very rewarding for the organization as a whole.
And we have the kickoff out. Looks like it's going to bounce out of bounds. You have a legal procedure on that one. But I think you got to look at Johnson. You got to look at Bridges and those guys up front have been able to put an enormous amount of pressure on Carlisle Jr. He just hadn't been able to get his feet set and make a quality throw due to the pressure that he's under. He's having to scramble, elude pressure. He's taken off and made some plays with his feet. But the continuity and the structure in the passing game just hasn't been what PPT Elite needs in order to make this, a closer game.
Yeah, like you said, FSP defense hasn't made it easy at all. And like you said, they're in the backfield a lot with Johnson and Bridges. But good job with the DBs. I mean, they're on these receivers like Velcro, not, creating any type of separation, even if they try to go downfield as well. So, I mean, overall, it's a great defensive game and defensive display in this game.
Absolutely. I think you got to look at, this defense has been opportunistic, especially in that front seven for FSP, and that's been the difference in the game, along with an extra point, a special team score on the kickoff return of the opening kickoff return of the second half. The FSP defense has kept the pressure on all afternoon.
All right, so let's see this offense right here for PPT Elite could get back rolling in this one. Exciting to see if we get some points on the board.
Big stop by the FSP defense, led by Tanu Noah, 6'2", 265 junior defensive tackle was in there, as well as Joseph Bach, sophomore, 6'2", 289 at East Catholic High School. These guys have been in the backfield all afternoon. That's what you're looking for when you come in. You're getting these reps for that defensive line. You want to see them get penetration. You mentioned earlier in the broadcast of using their hands, their technique. You're seeing it here by the FSP front seven.
Yeah, just great technique sound from FSP as a whole. So great, display of all the work they put in being showed up on a national broadcast at this scale.
And Carlisle Jr. trying to break free, just hadn't had the time. As you can see, Max Bridges is right there to get in on that sack.
The offense just not able to get in sync on that one. We check the replay right here. You see it all, the defensive line. As soon as they're saying hut, they're putting pressure in that backfield. And Carlisle just takes the smarter decision right there to get down on the ground. But having to take that loss of yardage right there, making a very, very big third and long.
Third and long as they come out, as you can see, Carlisle Jr. taking the play and getting his guys ready. I haven't heard much from Black here outside of a couple of runs in the first and second quarter. He's in the backfield flanking to him. The only way I can think to negate that pressure is you got to get it maybe a screen pass to Black right here. That would be great right now. Big ball up top. He's got a man open, looking for Pablo Aguirre, but it's just outside as we end the third quarter, headed to the fourth. 26-0 FSP, Adam. A dominant performance, really in the second half. The first half was a lot closer than the score says, but FSP's defense has come to play here in this third quarter.
Yeah, defense has been standing out, like we said earlier, all game on both sides of the ball. With the score, being 26-0, only had a handful of offensive touchdowns, but, special teams able to, contribute as well. But FSP, as far as on the defensive side, just lights out today so far.
Well, definitely shout out to OfferHound, our sponsor for this telecast today, using the power of AI to get athletes recruited and help coaches find them. That's OfferHound. AI-powered, parent-trusted, and NIL-ready. You mentioned the NIL earlier, Adam. That's an important piece to recruiting now, especially when you talk about the Power Four conferences and some Group of Five, and even some D2 programs. They offer NIL now. That's a thing that's relevant now in recruiting. How has that affected it? From your eyes of what you've seen in recruiting here in the last 5 years?
It's able to give these student athletes a more, I would say, not a competitive edge, but it's going to help them outside of football. It gives them a great opportunity to prepare themselves for that real world experience as well. It's a little early taste. A lot of these guys, touching NIL money before, touching some NFL money, it's a very big difference and a very big change you have to go through. So, if you're taught about NIL properly and you're able to execute it right, you'll come out, on the brighter side of things when it comes to NIL.
As we get a punt, and it's down just past midfield at the 45-yard line, 44-yard line of FSP as they come back offensively. Now, the defense has really been great. They've given up a couple of big plays. The big play really of the game, or the most explosive play, was the kick return to open the second half. But this PPT Elite defense has been stout. They've been able to hold FSP when they can, outside of a couple of big plays. What can they do to get these guys off the field?
I just think just keep it what's at task at hand. I mean, not giving up anything, not giving up too much. You know, like I said, the defense, got to give them a little credit. They could be a little tired near, you know, the end of this game in this last quarter. But this defense, again, don't change nothing. Don't let up off the gas pedal on your defensive stand. You know, you're giving yourself the best opportunity you can when you do that.
Well, we get another look at sophomore quarterback Antoine Williams Jr., who led FSP on the last scoring drive. As you see inside the FSP huddle as the big fellas come out and set up, he's got Irving next to him here in the backfield, another sophomore running back from Odeya High School out of the Washington area. 1st and 10, high snap. Williams Jr. takes it. He's up the field. Rumbles for about 6 on the play. Great job. Williams Jr., Adam, is showing dual threat ability, using his legs to pick up the first positive gain.
Yeah, and the athleticism right there, you know, turning nothing into something on that one. Again, the high snap, look, went up with one hand and grabbed it, and then pulled back the handoff on the option. And again, long strides. He's taking, you know, 2 steps. He's already got 4-yard gain as well. And then when he's, you know, head to the ground as well, he's making sure he's rolling forward to get maximum yardage.
Absolutely. Screen pass out. PPT's there, but they miss a tackle and gets upfield for a positive gain. That's Waylon Abercrombie again showing up for the FSP offense, Adam.
Yeah, great job by Abercrombie there. I said earlier, like you said, he's kind of like that resourceful, you know, receiver, that go-to right there. You see, makes the catch, makes one-man miss, two-man miss. And he is finally tackled, but again, not after a good positive gain for another FSP first down.
Showing off the moves in the open field. Yards after catch, that's what you want. Handoff. And the PPT Elite defense is there on the stop. Big number 56 again for PPT Elite.
Yeah, 56 and 18 right there in the backfield. That's King Billingsley and Jesser Hampton Williams. We had the interception earlier right there in the backfield. As you see, King Billingsley right there in the backfield, ready for that running back. Takes him in with open arms to bring him to the turf.
Well, this is what you want. You got to have positive reinforcement on that defensive line. And that's what you're getting for PPT Elite's defense. Has played an outstanding game. The offense hasn't been able to get rolling as Williams Jr. looks back, finds a guy over the middle, just outside of the outstretched arms. Great throw there, but again, the PPT Elite defense is there. 3rd and long. What do you got to do to get these guys off the field for PPT Elite? I think you got to get some pressure there, or possibly get another interception to try to turn this drive around.
I mean, you do have this defense for PPT has a good cushion to work with. Again, 3rd and 13, it looks like. Yeah, but one thing, though, I think for the defense, you kind of got to prepare yourself. Hey, this is a 4th down team. FSP hasn't punted all game today, so they're going to always go for it on 4th down. So you just got to prepare yourself on how to manage this from getting
balls out.
Balls out.
And it's PPT Elite on the recovery as they come up big defensively again, Adam.
Yeah, great job. You said, Bart, they needed to create pressure, and they did. They got in the backfield. You check here on the DR Sports Network replay. Williams was looking for a receiver. As soon as he, puts his arm back to get the pass off, I think that's number 56 right there, getting the strip, possibly a strip sack. That's King Billingsley. That's his 2nd play on this drive, and it resulted in that turnover. A great job by the PPTO defensive line right there. The awareness to know that ball's on the turf to jump on it.
Well, great job of getting pressure. We talked about what they need to do to get this one off, and that's what they did, is to make something happen defensively. Now it's up to Carlisle Jr. and company to turn it around and put some points on the board with 9:33 left in the 4th quarter here. Southbound Showdown, Washington, Texas, in the mix on the DR Sports Network and the PPT Elite YouTube channel. If I'm looking at this one offensively, I got to give my guys some time. I'm taking a big shot over top. I have nothing else to lose here. You got to get these guys off of us and give this guy time, the chance, and an opportunity to complete passes.
Yeah, you want to try to, get some excitement and, possibly, light a fire right there. But, I mean, like, coming in the backfield again, I think that's Johnson right there in the backfield for another sack for FSP. Just a great showing right now by Johnson in this one as well.
6'3", 240, Willamette High School out of the Washington area. A lot of these guys around the Seattle, Washington area, the greater Northwest on display. We don't get a chance to see some of this top talent. We go around the country on the DR Sports Network, and we see a lot of talent in the southern sector or the southeast region. But now we're getting to look at some Northwest ballers. Adam, what have you seen today from these guys?
I mean, these guys, the technique that they're taught with, it just seems like they're taught early, and it does really stick with it. Very fundamentally sound from this FSP athletes, from these kids from Washington. So it's a great showing. Again, they're hitting on all cylinders today in this one. You know, again, 26-0 lead right now in the fourth quarter. So a great showing. I mean, hey, man, looks like we got to make a trip up to the Northwest to see some of these high school kids playing. Yeah, they're early, too.
Absolutely.
All underclassmen balling out as well at the highest level.
Shout out to CEOs Jonathan and Leagues Mumphrey, who have been, great around the DR Sports and DR7. So we had another exciting season come to the end at the Crown in Florida. But now you see, man, definitely the DR Sports Network is where it's at. Carla was picked off by FSP as he comes back to the other side. He cuts back, and he's still on his feet. Big-time reception for the defense as the FSP defense comes up with the interception. Adam.
Savel Velasquez right there on the interception. Does look like the quarterback was able to see the defender there. Savel stays low underneath the shoulder pads and popped up like a groundhog did and snagged that interception.
Absolutely.
But great job by Savel.
I don't think the quarterback saw him. He was playing zone defense, got his depth like you're supposed to at linebacker. He comes up with the big defensive stop as PPT Elites turn back. As you can see, these guys in the trenches for FSP have been dominant. I think you got to get this one in and punch it in and kind of close it out. But this PPT Elite defense has been playing strong. Can they turn them away down inside the 10 as it looks like we're going to start 1st and 10 for FSP?
Yeah, so 1st and 10. Great return as well right there on the interception. And I think that sets them up into the red zone again. Unsure. I think we had a penalty on that play, on that interception return to move the ball back.
Yeah, it looks like we had a penalty there. Great return and great blocking by the defense, but, Carlisle Jr. finally has some time to actually throw, and he looks off, and he doesn't see the linebacker trailing him underneath, and he makes the interception. 1st and 10 for FSP. Looks like we've got a quarterback change here, Adam, as well.
Third quarterback of the day for FSP, and I believe this could be Colton Reed. This is a freshman as well, but that's not a freshman running that one. Oopke, his first touchdown of the day, finds himself pay dirt, extending the lead. FSP putting icing on the cake on this one.
Upgay has been one of those guys, as you can see, offensively for FSP, as he finally hits pay dirt. He's been ripping out big runs, but this is the biggest one of the day. He gets upfield, and there's nobody there to touch him. He shows the speed and elusiveness that we've seen from him today, and he lets them know Washington's in the building.
Just great job right there by Upke. Finally cashing against the points, like you said. He was getting big runs, but finally found himself in the end zone. But, hey, all these running backs getting good yardage. Got to give their props to their O-line. Tyson Daniels, Junior LePay, Nate Haney, Baker Pohina, Nakai Santavale. A lot of these linemen up front clearing the way for the running backs to get these big gains.
Absolutely. They've been dominant today. The run game has been there. When they've had a chance to establish the run game, they've been dominant. It looks like they're going for 2 here, Adam, on this one. Rolls out, finds a guy in the back of the end zone for pay dirt. Abercrombie, who's another guy who's had a great game for FSP, punches it in. That's 2 points on the board as they celebrate.
Yeah. Just a great display of the athletes in Washington. Underclassmen are balling out today. Again, quarterback, I think, checked in as Colton Reed, a freshman. He connects with his sophomore receiver, Abercrombie, and he gets on under the stat sheet with some points added to the board.
Well, great job. You mentioned underclassmen, Adam. We talk about this on the DR Sports Network all the time in DR7 when we're on the road for 707. Early identification. These guys getting that exposure, and that's where OfferHound comes in with the help of getting these guys recruited. AI-powered, parent-trusted, and NIL-ready. That's OfferHound, who's the sponsor of the Southbound Showdown today, using the power of AI to get athletes recruited and help coaches find them. That's OfferHound. Get recruited now.
Also, I mean, great contribution, I think, that helps to these young student athletes recruitment here is being able to perform on the DR Sports Network. Like you said, we're able to get that early identification across the nation when it comes to 7-on-7, but still getting this, this pub early as a freshman, as you're seeing freshmen and sophomores, perform at the highest level. That's something you do find, a lot here only on the DR Sports Network.
And we got a kick on the kickoff as the FSP special teams kicks it. I think it went out of bounds. We lost coverage there, but FSP defensively with the turnovers, they've been able to get. We got a touchback on the special teams attempt there, but the FSP defense has been lights out today, Adam. Interception to turn PPT Elite back on that last possession. They've been constantly putting pressure on the quarterback. What more can you say about this defense?
I mean, it's just been a perfect display so far. I mean, like we said earlier, they're hitting on all cylinders. They're in the backfield. They're in coverage. Plenty of sacks, tackle for losses, and interceptions. So great job by this defense. They got that goose egg up on the board. And I know a lot of the coaches want that goose egg or donut. So they were able to capitalize that and finish this one strong.
Absolutely, I think if I'm PPT on offense, we got to get some positive momentum. We got to get some plays in a hurry here. So he actually has some time to get it off, and there's Pablo Aguero on the reception. Adam, we've talked about him all game long. He's a playmaker, and he shows us why.
Yeah, he's just an athlete that's, again, just leaving it out on the field today. You can't say that enough about Pablo. Both sides of the ball, performing well, contributing to his team no matter what. I mean, great receptions for positive yardage, pass breakups, block kick, extra points as well. So a well-rounded athlete, again, from College Station, Texas. Excited to see, his fall season come ahead of us as we get ready after the spring.
Big hit in the backfield, and there is Max Bridges again as he pummels the quarterback for a sack. And he says, button it up, he's coming back. He's been a terror defensively for FSP.
This is a business trip for Bridges and company, and he is reaping the benefits on this expense, making sure his expenses are paid on this business trip right there. Another sack in the backfield. Bridges making himself a home right there in the backfield.
Well, Bridges has what you look for in the edge defender: the get off, his ability to make plays in the backfield, his hands. You mentioned that technique that he's been working on, and he's a guy that's fighting for a defensive MVP in this game.
Yeah, it's going to be very tough. Him and Johnson are the two forefront defenders, contenders for a defensive MVP award at this one. So, we're going to have to regroup and think about that one before you ever make a great decision. But again, just great performance by Bridges and Johnson leading this defense.
Handoff in the backfield, and the FSP defense rises to the occasion. Multiple guys there on that one, Adam.
Yeah, great job by the defense again. All in the backfield right there. Number 33, Ovalani Cial. He's a 7th grader, Mark. Again, these young guys are performing and competing well with some of the top talent in Texas.
Absolutely. I mean, early identification on this thing that we talk about. You mentioned shout out to OfferHound, who's knee deep in recruiting and helping these guys get offers now, AI powered, parent trusted, NIL ready, and it's showing up on the field.
It just can't be. I mean, if you're an FSP program, can't be nothing more or less than proud of your defensive stand and your young guys. That's one thing I think you got to be proud of. Your young guys are making an impact in this one as well.
Take the snap, 4th down punt. He gets it off, short punt, and the PPT Elite defense gets down on it. As you look at a dominant performance with 2 minutes and change left, 34-0 FSP on top. But listen, I can't say enough about the PPT Elite defense. We mentioned Aguero, Hampton Williams, and those guys. Braley's been on a few plays as well. You mentioned a couple of more guys, but I think what you take away from this, and we know this is not a regular season game or a game that counts in wins and loss columns, but I think you saw some guys on this defense. If colleges are looking at this, these guys are going to start getting some looks.
Yeah. This has been for me personally, it's been one of the most defensive defensive displays I've seen in a game from both sides of the ball. I mean, in my opinion, disregard the score 34-0. Defensively, if you're putting the defenses side by side, head to head, both of them are playing, lights out to the best of their capability. As far as that PPT elite, I just think, maybe a little bit of, run out a little bit of gas in this one. This was a long game, being out on defense a lot, but at the end, they were able to hold their ground as much as they could, but FSP's been able to capitalize too, on special teams as well.
Absolutely. Sayan Rios on that particular reception. 2nd and about 3 as he gets outside, and there it is again, that PPT elite defense with the stop on that one, Adam.
Yeah, good defense is showing up in this one. That's 53. Messiah Lawson on that tackle for law, on that sack, actually. Right there, Messiah fighting through the O-line and gets to the quarterback and brings it to the ground. Great job by Mr. Lawson on that one.
Absolutely. I mean, in spurts, the defense has been there. It's the offense that hadn't been able to get in rhythm this afternoon, and FSP's taking advantage of it. 34-0 right now with 50 seconds left in the game. Outside, and that is Irvin on the reception. He gets out of bounds, picks up a couple.
Great job right here by the offense. FSP offense just using this opportunity for reps. Again, freshman quarterback Colton Reed right there taking the snaps. So getting his reps in on this one as well. Spreading the ball out to his offensive threats as well as we're nearing the end of this one in this Southbound Showdown.
Absolutely. That's the seconds tick off. We want to again thank our sponsor, OfferHound, who's helping kids get recruited and seen by coaches around the country. As he takes the snap, looks for a guy on the outside, he gets out of bounds, makes the reception as the time ticks away. Adam, final thoughts on this particular contest, FSP on top.
I mean, Washington's got some guys. Defense does win championships because this has been a defense. For me, more like a defensive all-star game. Again, great defensive performance from both sides. I mean, Messiah Lawson, we heard Jester Williams-Hampton as well. Pablo Aguero on the TPT side. But again, Johnson and Bridges on the defensive side for FSP, had lights out a performance as well. So a great defensive display as a whole, I would say, in this contest, as we see the clock hit 0, FSP taking this win and have a great showing, good support as well from Washington.
Absolutely.
Making the trip down to Texas.
Absolutely. Again, we want to thank our sponsor, OfferHound, for sponsoring the DR Sports Network telecast and PPT Elite YouTube channel. Telecast of the Southbound Showdown between PPT Elite and FSP, 34-0 FSP. With a big victory. Spring football in the air in the state of Texas. Again, OfferHound using the power of AI to get athletes recruited and help coaches find them. Myself, Mark Henry, as well as my guy Adam Sandoval here in the state of Texas, Capel High School, signing off. Stay tuned, man. We will be back on the DR Sports Network for future broadcasts. Tap in.
OfferHound, the most powerful AI platform for high school athletic recruiting. Athletes build a pro profile and reach coaches with patent-pending AI letters. Parents navigate NIL with our patent-pending family decision ledger. Coaches discover overlooked talent with patent-pending smart matching. Free forever. Patent-pending AI across 13 sports. OfferHound. Get recruited. Get